Hey everyone, and welcome to my live stream with my very good friend and fellow coach, Leigha Lake. Welcome, Leah.
Thanks, Helena. So excited to be with you again.
Yes, I'm just checking in with the chat. Hello, everyone. It's so great to see you. Everyone's excited for Leah. I've been getting so many requests to bring you back on. We've done so many videos together over the years, and we were just chatting before we started. And Leah, I've known longer than anyone I've ever interviewed on my channel. We were in training together 7 years ago. Right about now was exactly 7 years ago when we first met, and we became good friends and done lots of programs together over the years. So I always love talking with you, Leah. And let us know if you guys can hear us and see us okay. And we're just going to jump right in. Leah, for everyone who's not familiar with Leah, she is a feminine energy mentor, teacher, and guide who helps women transform their relationship with both men and money so they can attract the love and abundance they truly desire in their life. I hope I said that right. It's been a while since I've had you on. So yeah, we're super excited. Today we're going to be talking about 3 things that make a man see you as that one special woman that he just doesn't want to ever live without. And we're going to also be talking about how to powerfully receive the love you want. This is something Leah's a total expert and genius in. So I always learn something every time we do one of these live streams or videos, Leah. So anything you want to say before we get started?
Yeah, I love that it was exactly 7 years ago that we met and our whole lives changed and went on this trajectory of
yes,
helping women with this and our own experiences. And it's just been so fun.
Yes, I'm super, super excited. Oh my gosh, there's so many amazing comments. Everyone's such a fan. I've worked with Leah for 2 years. My journey's been incredible. Feminine energy, the Leah way is so powerful. I totally agree. Like I said, I always learn something, and Leah's been extremely helpful for me personally over the years, all the ups and downs on my own journey, right? So yeah, so let's just jump right in. What is that first thing that makes a man see you as that one woman that he never wants to live without?
Okay, yes. So I have quite the the little training here for everybody. And also, of course, like the way a man views a woman and never wants to live without her is not superficial whatsoever. And for most women, and probably women who are following your channel, they already know that it actually has nothing to do with a man, but actually has to do with the way a woman views herself. That the man picks up on. So I just want to set the stage for that. But what I do know is like this training that I'm going to go over, these 3 things, these 3 steps, it moves a woman from this goal-getting paradigm of like feeling like she has to go out and attract the right man or make something happen to, or anything. Could be related to anything. But for women and men, when we have this desire, this deep, deep desire to attract a man, we create this space that we don't want. We don't want this space between us and our desire. We want to close the gap. But in this paradigm that we live in this society, it's this goal-getting paradigm, and you automatically create this huge gap. And I know, Helena, you and I talk about gaps, but this is definitely not the gap that you want. Most of the time we're talking about gaps in the way that you want. But and what we want to do is shift to this more inner awareness paradigm, which I call the true pleasure paradigm, where the goal-getting paradigm is the false pleasure. And you and I talk about that somewhat in what is that program we have?
Connect with his heart, right?
Yes,
the fear paradigm versus the pleasure paradigm. Yeah, like I said, Leah, and we've done so many programs together over the years. The links, they're all in the description right now. You can also grab Leah's free gift, check out her intuition program. Just go check out all the links in the description if you guys are interested in learning more. I know these are huge concepts, but yeah, I love what you're saying. I can just feel it. Like I want this man and he's not doing what I want. There's this gap basically, right?
Yeah.
I mean, with money, with anything that you want, we've all been there. We've all felt that. It's super uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. Especially because women, there's so many women who are so capable of, they can make things happen. They're successful. It's like, how come there's actually nothing we can do to make love happen. Like, even if you try to make it happen, you can't make it happen.
Yeah, so true.
Okay, so the goal, the intention is to shift to this inner awareness. And I call it the ultimate transformation process. Not super creative, but it works. And but what that does is it starts to close the gap, and it creates this shift, because whenever we focus on wanting love, and when we don't have it, or focus on money when we want it but we don't have it, that's when we create the gap. And to close the gap, we want to focus on this inner awareness that I'm going to explain, which is okay. So these are the three things, the three steps. So it goes awareness, emotional maturity, which leads to a higher frequency. Okay. And I'm going to go deeper into that, but that's the overall layout. And what happens is it's this cycle. And I just did this training called The Art of Receiving on my website if someone wants to go deeper into this. But we think that we're either going in this linear cycle or this linear, actually Helena does go linear.
We were just talking about that. Yeah.
Helena is like one of the most amazing people that says, this is what I'm doing. And she just stays at it.
Yeah. Yep. I don't deviate too much. I know what I want. I know it's possible. And here we go. It's like, yeah, I get a desire. I'm like, all right, here we go. This is happening. Yeah. But I know most people, it's kind of more of a up and down, back and forth, right?
Yeah. This up and down, or like just this crazy way of going about it. But I have found for myself and for most of the women I work with, it's more of an upward spiral of transformation and evolution. And so within this spiral, we go from awareness, and it's awareness of our triggers and our bad feelings, like really strong feelings. And we're often making something mean something that it doesn't mean. Whatever that trigger is, whatever that bad feeling is, it's a program. And because we make it mean something it doesn't mean, we go in a downward spiral, and we create more space between where we are and where we want to be. When we can recognize that bad feeling or that trigger isn't true, or we're making something mean that it's something it doesn't, we start to move into this second phase of emotional maturity. So I have a list of things to talk about here, but just with awareness, it's recognizing triggers and bad feelings. And then it's also recognizing what's healthy and what's not healthy in relationships, which the biggest part there is understanding the wounded and empowered masculine and feminine energies. Yes. Okay. So just a real quick on understanding the wounded and empowered. And I do talk about this in the intuition course and the feminine art of dating, which is that the wounded masculine is more narcissistic. The wounded feminine is more codependent. And the wounded masculine rules by fear. The wounded feminine is ruled by fear.
Got it. Do you want to explain that a little more? I know I get questions about that all the time. We talk about this a lot in our Art of Getting the Commitment You Want program, but maybe just explain, if you could go into that a little more. I know that would be so helpful for everybody.
Yes. So the wounded masculine, which is more narcissistic, if we're looking at it on this spectrum here, it is a spectrum from codependent to narcissism. A narcissistic woman is just not going to be on this live stream. Like she just wouldn't. You're like, I don't need that, or and so there's very varying levels of codependency, and most super strong, successful women don't they don't resonate with that term. But I'm going to explain it in a different way because, so one of my favorite tools here is the life raft, which is we all need our own life raft. And we need to understand when we're trying to pull people into our life raft because they need our help or right. Or if we're trying to get into somebody else's life raft, which rarely happens with probably the women that we work with. Like I know for sure with my women, I'm guessing your women too, they're more likely to try and pull men along, help others because they're so capable.
Yes.
right?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Totally.
so that's where the codependency comes in. And if we're pulling and helping others too much, if you imagine our hands are full, there's no way to receive what you really want. So we need to become aware of when we're pulling people, and we need to learn how to let go so we can receive.
Got it. That makes perfect sense to me. Is this resonating with you guys in the chat? Sounds like everyone's absolutely loving this. We have over 200 people in the first 10 minutes. So I know you guys are going to absolutely love everything else Leah has to share on this topic. Yeah, absolutely. It's this, and it doesn't come from a bad place. Like I've been there. We've all, I think the smarter you are, the more driven and successful, the more you want to just like help a guy and push him along. And if you feel like if you let go, it's just going to like fade away and fizzle out. We've all been there, right?
Right. Yes. Yes. And so where we want to be is like we're all in these inner tubes. Everyone has their own space. Everybody needs their own space, and we need to get comfortable with that space. And then imagine like lying back in the ocean, on your inner tube, and your arms are out at your side. You're not holding on to anything. And the inner tube is the empowered masculine energy. You feel safe, you feel secure, you feel supported. You're not in survival mode, which allows your body to be relaxed, open, and receptive.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like this is resonating with everybody. Oh my gosh. Melanie says there's a little bit of a delay again today. I'm not sure why. I'll just read it. Wounded masculine equals narcissistic. Wounded feminine is codependent. This is my relationship in this very moment. I get it. Everyone's totally getting this, loving it. So yeah, this is great. Yeah. What's the next? There it is.
Okay.
A little bit of a delay on my end. So if it's like taking me a second to respond, sometimes there's like a 15-second delay, which makes it hard for me to figure out what's going on. But yeah, so thank you guys for letting us know. This is totally resonating with everyone. Leah, yes, let's keep going with this.
Okay.
This is amazing.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, understanding, and we can feel it more than, yes, it is beneficial to have a list of what's wounded, what's empowered, but what the empowered energies, so the empowered feminine, she is led from within. She doesn't go outside looking for answers, or for like reassurance and validation, too much. This is not a rigid thing whatsoever. But so she's led from within, and the empowered masculine leads through example. That's where we're going, right? So we have these spectrums, and we're bringing them together, and it's not like it's no longer this pendulum of feminine and masculine. It's that the feminine is supported by the masculine, like the inner tube. Or I also talk about the lighthouse, the structure, and then the light is the feminine. It's a union, they're combined. It's not in or out or switching roles, so to speak. And it's this energy that makes a man never want to be without you.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I have experienced that. Oh my gosh. Like it's like every time, no exception, when you're with the right person, right? And I imagine this all starts with your own masculine and feminine energies within yourself working in harmony, right? Rather than being depleted in one and kind of like amped up on the other one because you're coming from fear. Or I love what you said, you're either being ruled by fear or you're ruling with fear. I don't know if I said that right, but yeah. Does it all start within yourself, I imagine?
Right. Yes. Yes. So because most, the women on here are not narcissistic, out in their daily lives, the most because we do have both, wounded feminine and wounded masculine within us, it's usually our self-talk. It's usually the way we talk to ourselves, treat ourselves, that we would never do to anybody else. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the ruling by fear, the wounded masculine. It's like, okay, well, however that self-talk goes. And then being ruled by fear with the wounded feminine, this is the woman or the man, because there's a lot of men with wounded feminine energy, right? Yes, confused, can't make a decision, doesn't know what he wants, and his, you can't get a grip on him.
Totally. It's like he's like slippery, like, right? Yeah. We did a whole live stream just on that. I think a lot of women who originally find my videos and come to my channel are feeling attached to a man in his wounded feminine. And she got connected, she got bonded. Now it's like, what do I do? He's not doing anything. And that's when, if we don't feel that, the right man is going to love you because of who you are deep down, we think we need to make up the difference through action and by helping him and moving things along. And that just causes his attraction often, if he's not the right one, to decrease, and he starts to take you for granted and all those things. We've definitely all been there, right? So yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. Do you feel that you are attracting men, or that your man might be in his wounded feminine a little bit? A lot of men like that out there. Right?
Oh yeah, great question.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear if that is the case. That seems to be the case more often than not, than a man, that's, that just seems to be more the case than a more narcissistic man. So, okay. So we have this awareness, right? This awareness of triggers and bad feelings, and then what's healthy and what's not. And then this moves us into emotional maturity, which the number one thing here is our ability to reframe what those triggers and bad feelings mean. This is like so imperative, so crucial. Every empowered masculine energy man wants to be with a woman who can reframe. That means something goes bad, or she's feeling triggered about something, and she can disengage from it and say, because this is a pattern of mine. We don't know what it is at first, but I know I'm making something mean something it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love it. I love it. Yeah. When I, every time I'm looking over here, I'm just checking in with the questions. Can you summarize that one more time? Somebody, Leah just asked, can you say that last thing you said one more time?
Okay. Yes. Yay.
About reframing.
So every empowered masculine energy man wants to be with a woman who can reframe, which means we feel bad about something, or it's an emotional charge. It takes over. It's a trigger.
Yeah.
And it's a pattern. That's how we know that it's we're getting pulled into this program, or this paradigm of what's keeping love away. And when we can recognize it and disengage from it and say, I don't know what I'm making this mean, because we're so foggy in the head we're that emotional. But I know I'm making this mean something it doesn't mean.
Yeah.
This fear, or this, like, something is causing we lose focus, or we lose what's really happening.
What are some signs that a woman's doing that? Is that when you start feeling anxious, or what happens when what's a clue that a woman needs to pull back and reframe?
So it's an intense emotion.
Okay.
It's like, I'm feeling intense about this, and it doesn't even and the crucial part here is not even about a man. It can be about a family member, or work situation, or anything that comes up in your life that's a pattern that causes you to have an intense emotional reaction. Because we want to, we get defensive. We need to talk about it. We want people to side with us. And okay, so for awareness, I have the life raft tool. For this part specifically, I call it the drama roller coaster, because it's like we're always on this roller coaster as if we're on it for the first time.
Wow. Yeah.
Can
you give an example of that? Actually, I think there's an example right here. When I'm single, I feel myself as such a powerful woman, like right now. But as soon as I feel attached to a guy, I suddenly become needy and pathetic. Oh my gosh. Has anyone not been there? I know I certainly have, right? I want to get out of this pattern. Any thought? Is this an example of the roller coaster? And what would you say to someone like this? And probably all of us at times who can get into that place where you feel attached, you feel bonded. Then all of a sudden you want to, like, do stuff. Every move you make is calculated and strategic, and you're just up in your head trying to do things all the time, right?
Yes. Okay. So this is perfect. So you feel that icky feeling of, like, anxiety and wanting to hear from him, or wanting him to make plans, and he's not. If I'm guessing there's a reason, though, that you become needy and pathetic. Like, it must be because he's not doing something. And but our stuff will come up if a man's not. I mean, even if a man is doing all the right things, our stuff will come up about maybe 10% of the time. But This to me means that you're holding on to his life raft, trying to help him in some way. And that's where the anxiety is coming from, because then you go into survival mode.
Love it. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I've been there myself in my relationship now. I've said this on my channel before. Never once felt anxious, because he's the right person and he's just shows up and is consistent and reliable, dependable. Never once wondered where I stood. It's a very different feeling than this feeling of longing for a man. Can you guys relate to that? This feeling of like, I'm longing for this man whose energy is not coming towards me, or maybe it was for a little while, but it's not right now. Right. So I love that, that image of holding on to a life raft or trying to jump into that the life raft to like try to keep things going, right?
Yeah. And so it's mastering this part that will allow you to start to attract a more of the partner for you, more of an ideal man who can be in his own life raft. And the two of you, this is what happens when we heal our triggers and these intense, we get off the drama roller coaster. That's when our life raft bumps up against the right partner, the right clients, the right opportunities, and there's no grabbing on. There's never any grabbing on. And that's what I want women to get used to. It's like, oh, that's a nice surprise.
Yeah. Yes, love it. Yeah. So someone's asking, what's the answer? Is it healing your triggers? Is that what it is? How do you get to the place where you're wanting to grasp on to someone else's life raft or everyone else's life raft to what you've been talking about?
So
right?
First we have to have the awareness, the recognition of the feeling of being in your own life raft, feeling relaxed and, stable, secure on your own life raft, right? You want to be able to integrate that feeling so you can recognize it and it becomes familiar. Then you're going to start to recognize when you're grabbing on to help somebody, because that's usually what it is. You're not typically trying to get into somebody else's life raft. That would be the woman who's waiting for a man to come and save her. She's like waiting to get in somebody else's life raft to make the money or.
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's more wounded feminine, right?
Yeah. And I don't, that's typically not the case so much that I have found, more than it is. What we see more often is women trying to help men into the life raft. Like, I can help. You have so much potential. Just time. We just need some time.
Yeah. Or once he gets his job situation straightened out, or once he gets into a better living situation. And those are the men that honestly, when they're ready, they see them partnering with someone else. It's not, you know what I mean? If you were the one, if he recognized you as this one, it wouldn't be, I was working with a client the other day. I came up with this term with Mr. Always Something, right? There's always something preventing him. He needs to get his financial stuff in order. And then his back went out, then his kid's sick. And there's always something that's preventing him from stepping up and doing what he promised he was going to do. So watch out for the Mr. Always Somethings. Can you guys relate to that? I was laughing with my client the other day about that. But yeah, it's those are the men we want to help, right? Or wait for endlessly, right? We don't want you waiting for a guy like that. Yes.
Because we see the potential and it's so hard to let go of that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. These are some great questions. We're going to get to them at the end. If you guys have questions for us, let us know. There's 300 people watching already in the first 20 minutes. So give this video a like. Let us know what you think. Everyone's totally resonating with this. What else do you have to say on this topic?
Yeah. Okay. So the drama roller coaster, we need to get off the drama roller coaster. And that means we want to start building the skill to remain neutral. It's so hard for me even, right? When I get triggered, it's hard to pull back and be like, no, I'm not getting on that roller coaster anymore, because we always get on it. We don't even know we're on it. And it's the same roller coaster ride. There's nothing new, right? But it creates that gap between where you are by disengaging from that drama. Okay. So that means we need to reframe. We need to depersonalize situations and circumstances, not make it mean something it doesn't mean, right? And we need to learn how to detach from the outcome.
Love that. Wow. So important. So important. Do you have an example of this, like from maybe your own life or from a client? I'd love to really get this into the concrete.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I definitely have examples, but not necessarily with men coming to me. But we just moved back from Oahu. We moved back to Utah. And at first, like literally one day we were talking about buying one of the condos in the area that we were living in. And then the next day it's like, actually we're moving. And so it took me, like I would be on board with it, and then I'd get on the drama roller coaster and be like, "Whoa, we can't," and then I'd just be able to disengage and be like, "Okay, no, this is the right thing. This feels right. This is," and I knew it was more in flow. If we tried to like stay there, like move to a different part of the island, and really like get strategic about staying there, like I know that doesn't work. It was like it would have been grasping on to life rafts. So by letting go and like, okay, this is where we're flowing. And it was like it was like a freight train. That's how fast everything happened. It was so crazy. And but now by being able to just let go and not have all these things of how I think life should go, I love where we're living. I'm creating my own little beach cottage here in Utah.
Oh, I love that.
So I don't know. I've painted and I'm getting stuff for it. But I do, and I know this is how we move from this goal-getting false pleasure paradigm where we end up it's like an empty feeling where we end up. Right. The relationship isn't fulfilling, or it's hard. The work that we attract from this goal-getting paradigm isn't fulfilling and it isn't what we thought it was. All of it is more empty. And when we move to this ultimate transformation inner awareness process, we close that gap, and everything that comes from this, because it's more integrated and whole, is better than we ever thought it could be.
Got it. I love that so much. Do you mind if we take a question or two? Because these are really relating to the topic.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's so important. And sorry if whenever I'm looking around, I'm checking the comments and then there's this weird delay. So I hopefully this ends up looking okay. I don't know why this keeps happening on my live streams. Can you give us some tools on how to detach from the outcome? Mental, emotional tools. I know you have so many great ones, Leah. Do you have any for specifically detaching from the outcome? That can be the hardest thing. I know you just talked about it right now, but what did you do to help yourself, or what can everyone do if they're feeling like strongly attached to the outcome or the results?
Okay. Yes. So I actually want to come back to this because I think once I close the loop on this transformation process, it'll make more sense, and it'll create more of it will actually help you come up with something. So just let me come back to this, and I want to see what comes up for you. All right. So we have the awareness, we have the emotional maturity, which is where the integration of the masculine and feminine happen. This is the meantime that I talk about in intuition and the feminine art of dating. This is where we spend most of our lives, because so detaching from the outcome is about staying neutral. And so it's not about, it's learning how to, if you're attached to the outcome, you're probably going to feel bad about something. You're going to feel anxious. And that anxiety means that you're making that outcome mean something it doesn't mean.
Got it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you're in the goal-getting paradigm, and you're in the goal-getting paradigm because this paradigm is I'll be happy when.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. One question I've been having people ask lately is, before you say or do anything, ask yourself, I mean, I've always said, what am I hoping will happen? And if you have a strong answer to that, like, I'm hoping he'll see that I'm the one, I'm hoping that this will happen. My newest one that I've been kind of working with is, am I trying to do something constantly? Because I just like cringe thinking about some of like the text messages I used to send maybe like 10 years ago. Like I was always trying to do something. I was always trying to subtly manipulate the way a man saw me because I was attached. I wanted him to like me. I wanted to like constantly push things along on a very subtle level. So I was constantly trying to do something, make someone see me a certain way, and it never worked. Obviously, it just that's just the opposite effect. So that might be a good question to ask yourself too, everybody, before you send the text, before you do make the phone call. am I trying to do something? And what is it I'm trying to do? And right. And I think the trusting and allowing piece, trusting that the right guy is going to see you, and you're not going to have to like tactically navigate all these things. Like it's the overarching dynamic, right? Is he interested? Are you responding? Are things moving? I think so much of the time it's just not the right match, and we can like dig ourselves in and try and make it the right match because we're kind of trying to prove to ourselves that we're lovable on a real subconscious level that never works. It's just never a game that you're ever going to win, right?
Right. Yes. 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 So also, I think the best tool for this is the life raft. It's like, how do you detach from the outcome? If you're on your life raft floating and you're feeling supported, safe and secure, and you're relaxed and open, you can't be attached to anything because you're in the present moment.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. All right. What questions do you guys have for us? We have a little time left.
One more thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So step 3 is this higher frequency. Once we move into this integration of, right? So the step 3 is higher frequency. This is where we feel like we're enlightened, like life couldn't be better. Nothing's going to bring me down. It's like, I got all the answers. I'm so evolved. And we just feel like we've got this. And then inevitably we'll circle back around to a trigger or feeling bad. Okay. So this is the cycle. So that's why I talk about, Helena goes linear. She's like 1 in a million. Most of us are on this like upward spiral of evolution where, we have this awareness, then we move into emotional maturity, and then we move to this higher frequency where we feel like nothing can bring us down. But inevitably we'll come back around to being triggered and feeling bad. But we're never going backwards. We're just always going forward and upward. And I feel like that's really important to know because the same things that are our triggers are going to find us in another area of our life. They're going to always be with us. But when we realize like feeling bad and being triggered is never going to go away. That's just part of life. Mm-hmm. Like that's our evolution. And when we when we can recognize where we are, this is step 1. Melanie just answered. No.
Yeah. You're answering the questions before they even ask. Yeah. So yeah. I think it's always, and I did a video once a long time ago on what to do if a man disappears or breaks your heart. And it was that I have experienced that before. It's when you close a door, it feels like you're starting over. Let me, Melanie says, bummer. You guys are always cracking me up in this live chat. Yeah, unfortunately, you're always going to be at a place where you want more than what you have now, right? That's our whole feminine art of it. And that's a great thing. That's expansion. That's the point of being here, right? It's the joy along the way of getting what you want. It's not reaching that final destination and that's it. I have no more work to do. Right. So, what was I talking about before? Oh yeah. If you close a door and set a boundary and say no and move on from a man who's not, not stepping up or who just isn't the right one for you, it feels like we're starting over. It feels like here's what we want in the middle and we're just circling around. But what I like with your upward spiral analogy that you shared was that I see it as you're getting closer. Like It's almost like a plane circling for landing. Every time you stick up for yourself and set a boundary and not stay attached to a man who's not doing the job, you're actually getting closer. So you don't want to see all of these little triggers or step 1 moments, as you put it, as getting you further away or starting from scratch or going back to square one. I think it's getting you closer and closer to what you want every single time you choose yourself. What are your thoughts on that, Leah?
No, yeah, absolutely. It is. So this is why I call it the ultimate transformation process, because it's a win-win. This is the empowered masculine and feminine. It is where you begin to see your triggers as the portal, as the gateway to your next level, not like, oh, here we go again. It's like, oh, I'm triggered. I'm going to get off that drama roller coaster. I'm not going to engage. I'm going to stay neutral. And the ability to do this attracts in the most empowered people, especially an empowered masculine energy man, because most women don't have even an awareness around this drama roller coaster, and men don't want anything to do with that. I mean, if they love you, we're human, and Yes, a man wants to be with a woman who can disengage from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Abby says triggers are good. They lead you to the next level. Yeah. So you don't want to go, you don't like, oh God, I'm all the way back to square one. I can't believe this keeps happening. If you're doing the work, right? Every time this happens, it's like you're molding it into place. You're getting closer and closer to what it is you want. I love that. And I just think you're never going to be done with this. You're never going to get to a place where you're like, I'm done. I have everything I want. I can just sit back and right. It's like when you want something and then you get it, the satisfaction of that is like a split second. And then it's like, okay, now what do I want? Right. At least
Yes.
that's my experience. That's our feminine art of attraction program. That's been like a favorite over the years. Yeah. So we keep upgrading. Exactly. This is really great. The whole cracked dish narrative. A woman wants a set of dishes. She received a cracked dish. She complained to the woman who was helping her manifest. All I have is a cracked dish. She says, this is your sign. Yeah. Isn't there like an old Japanese proverb that the cracked dishes are actually seen as more beautiful and they fill the cracks with gold because that's, right. It's been through something. It has a history and it's kind of an analogy for life. I like that. Do you mind? I love that. Do you want to recap those three and then we'll get into some questions?
Okay. Yep. Perfect. So awareness, which is having awareness of your triggers and bad feelings and the intensity of them doesn't mean what you think it means. And we need to understand what's healthy and what's not in relationships, because this is such a problem in our society. We're not taught what's healthy, right? Like it's just not taught. And so we need to learn that for our own happiness and then to pass it down to our kids. Okay. And then we have emotional maturity, which is the integration of the masculine and feminine, which is where we reframe, we disengage from the drama roller coaster, we depersonalize situations and circumstances, and we detach from the outcome, right? So it's all letting go. This letting go opens you up to receive. You have to start to feel.
Yeah. Letting go. Yes.
Yeah. Right. You have to feel if you're in your life raft, supported and relaxed versus trying to, efforting and trying to pull someone along. Because we do this with more than just men. We do this with clients. We do this with family members, coworkers, it's friendships, it's in every area. And then when we do this integration and we learn to let go, we move into this higher frequency where our life raft bumps up against the right partner, the right clients, the right opportunities, the right ideas. And this is where we feel like life is so good, but we will inevitably circle back around to a trigger. And that's how it's supposed to work. And the more we can accept that and trust it and keep moving, and keep doing the inner work, the quicker energy moves, the quicker you can manifest what you want from this integrated place.
So true. We did a whole video a while back on how to heal your triggers and speed up the manifestation process, right? So go check that out. We also did a whole video on this feminine energy frequency to attract the love and the money and success, anything you want in life. So I can include links to those when we're done. We have a lot of great questions. I know I don't want to run out of time. I know you only have like 20 minutes or so left. The whole reason you're being triggered is so you can face the trigger and take your power back. So true. Okay. Triggers are opportunities to upgrade. Yes. Yeah. I would say yes. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
What about this one from Andrea? Can you mention something triggers you in a neutral, non-confrontational way?
Of course you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a way to do that?
Well, I think it takes an extreme amount of emotional maturity to be able to do that. And if you can do that, then you're already well along your way. It's just, what is that trigger? Can you recognize what you're making that trigger mean? Right? So to me, those typically never go hand in hand, the trigger and the non-confrontational way of expressing it. But if you could give us an example of that.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe while we're waiting for her to do that, here's one from Kim. This might help land this. How do you deal with feelings of anxiety and wanting a relationship with an ex? It feels like you're in a relationship, but you're missing the title after reconnecting. So it sounds like it's an ex. He's come back in the picture. They're reconnecting, but it's not a solidified relationship. How do you deal with feelings of anxiety around that?
Okay. So on a daily basis, you want to lay in your bed, probably morning and night or whenever, but you want to start really integrating into your body that feeling of being on a life raft and with your arms open, relaxed, and feeling safe and secure. Because if you don't, then you're always going to feel as if this holding on energy is normal. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you really only want to like a month maybe with this situation, maybe. Right. And if nothing changes, like you got to be out of there and you have to use your own masculine energy. And I often talk about this. Women with strong masculine energy will often be able to create more of what they want in a quicker way because of that masculine energy. So you want that. We don't want to tone it down. You need that masculine energy to get you out of there.
So true. So true. You have to empower that masculine energy within yourself to not tolerate, a situation that doesn't feel good to you, right? That's the quickest way to attract that empowered, either the empowered masculine energy in this man or a man who's even a better match for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good. So good. Can you give some examples of triggers?
Okay. So let's say your boyfriend or husband said he was going to do something and he didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's something super easy to get triggered over because we're making it mean he's lazy or he doesn't care. It's not that big of a deal to him. And most likely when we are that triggered, those things those are not the reasons why he didn't do it. And it's most likely pretty innocent. If he's a pretty empowered man, it would just depend. Or maybe he came up with a different idea of doing something and just didn't communicate it. These are just examples. This is with an empowered man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Still happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he doesn't care. It doesn't mean that anything. It doesn't mean usually what we think it means, right?
Yeah. So here's an example. When we were in Hawaii, my husband had a boss and they like to have some beers on Friday, Aloha Friday. And that was not my preference, but it was downtime. And then one time he came home late and I thought it was because he had too much to drink and I was all triggered and I wanted to send him a text, but I know better. And I would just to say like how irritated I was. And then but I didn't. And he came home and he actually had hardly been drinking. And he said he wanted to come home early, but then they got to talking about work. Anyway, I am so glad that I didn't send a really irritated text.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And this is what I do. I know better.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. It is hard.
Yeah, totally. I love that example. That was so great. Yeah. For the 425 people watching live, let us know what you think. Be sure to give this video a like. Okay, Andrea wrote some more in. She's the one asking about triggers. She says, when I'm hormonal, I get extremely insecure. I recognize that it's the feeling stemming from my hormones. I tend to say, hey, I'm feeling very sensitive right now. This is what I need. What do you think about that? She was asking about, is there a neutral way to talk about things when you're feeling triggered?
Okay, yes, that's awesome. And I would say that is so that has so much emotional maturity behind it that any man is going to respond well. Well, an empowered man is going to respond well to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. Love that. Oh my gosh, there's so many questions popping in. This is like, we got a lot of people watching live. This is really, really great. Okay, let me just scroll back up to the top. I don't want to miss any. Okay, let's see. I kind of feel, this is a great comment from Kylie. I kind of feel like men want crazy. I feel like if you're cool and gentle, not all over the place, showing your body, you probably won't get a great man. That is so funny. I was actually watching a stand-up comedy special last night with my man, Tom, who I've put him on my channel a few times. And the comedian was like saying how he kind of likes drama. Like if a woman would kind of like, if she's just happy, right? And that some men are attracted to the drama. They're attracted to crazy right? But that's not a man in his empowered masculine. That's not right. I mean, and our comment was, I'm so glad that neither one of us are drawn to that and attracted to that. I think, when women too, we can equate love with these obsessive feelings, with the highs and lows, the back and forth, the feeling of longing that we have. Hi. He's just coming home from work as I'm telling the story about us watching that last night. So funny. But yeah, the right guy is not going to be attracted to, what does she say, crazy and all over the place. I would say, Leah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I know you probably have a lot of great stuff to say on that.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to be with someone who wants drama. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
want less drama. And to me, if someone wants to me, that is someone who wants to be on the drama roller coaster. And
Yes, yes, yes.
right.
Totally. Yeah.
And that to me feels like child energy. It feels like very immature energy. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that is going to set someone up for a really emotionally draining, hard life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. So I would say that's a red flag. And if you keep attracting men who just want crazy and drama, then there's something to shift there. I would say, okay, what about this question? Are you okay on time, Leah?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I'm good.
Jessica has a question. What if the man is still reaching out despite having boundaries? I see the triggers, already set boundaries. He now wants to help with things around the house. I can't deal with the confusion. Is this someone where you're not sure what his intentions are? If you set boundaries, but it's still your job to close the door. He can come in the house, but you're the one that opens the door, metaphorically speaking, right? If you set a boundary, you set a boundary. And then dealing with the confusion, I think it's always okay to ask. I'm feeling a little confused as to what's going on here, what your intentions are. Totally fine to ask that. I don't know the details of your situation, but what do you think about this one, Leah?
Yeah. So I actually just had a call with a client where, she totally in love with this guy, but he was wishy-washy, and she has to hold the line. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have got to hold the line. It's like, I love you, depending on, where the relationship was when it ended. But for this woman, it's like, yeah, I love you. And at this point, I can't accept anything less than like super committed relationship. Like, you just say it. The more you just like put it out there, like, this is what I need, this is what I want.
Yeah.
One or two sentences max. Like, no explaining.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't need to tiptoe around these things. Yeah. Just say what you want, and then don't keep letting him back in the door unless he's total, like, that's what I want. I want this with you. I'm ready. If that isn't coming through in his words and actions, then you have to hold that boundary. We can set boundaries, and that's great. But if a man gets the sense that he can just keep doing whatever he wants, you're going to let him back in because you have these strong feelings for him, he's not going to respect you, right? He's not going to take you seriously, because it's your behavior and your distance often that a man is picking up on much more than the words you're saying. Right, Leah?
Right. And that's the drama roller coaster. The like, if he's pushing for more, like, okay, well, maybe I can help her with her house. Like, no, don't help me with my house.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what about this? I'm curious as to what you think about this. What do you guys think about everyone is you pushed out? I think what she's talking about is kind of like something spiritual teachers have been teaching for centuries, is there is no one separate from you. There's just you showing up in different ways. That's how I'm interpreting this question from Jennifer. If that's not right, let me know. But what are your thoughts on that, Leah, as it relates to this empowered and wounded energies?
Yeah. So I would say, okay. I think it's a great concept. I think it's really powerful because it shows us our shadow side, and we're able to look more and investigate it, as long as we don't spend too much time analyzing. Like, it's like, this is a match, this isn't a match. I'm holding on, I'm letting go now. like, we don't want to spend too much time and energy analyzing, or not in a space of feeling integrated, which is that, the inner tube. You're safe, secure, and supported, while also relaxed and open.
Yeah. Love that. I love that. Okay. I'm just, I have to scroll all the way back. There's 467 people watching live, which is so many people. It's hard to moderate the chat and listen and do all these things with the delay, especially. I think we got to all the questions in that section. Let me scroll. Is there anything else you want to say? Do you want to talk about Receive, your new 6-week program that you're offering, Leah, while I do that?
Okay. Yeah. Yes. So I'm teaching this ultimate transformation process in my new 6-week course called Receive, which is teaching women how to do this. and how to get out of this goal-getting paradigm that we don't even know we're in. We don't even know that a lot of the reasons that we feel bad is because of the pressure that society has put on us, and it actually has nothing to do with who we really are. It's just women feel bad for being single. They want a relationship, but the pressure that society puts on a woman to be in a relationship, otherwise something is wrong with her. A lot of women have taken that on for themselves as if it was their idea, you know? Yeah. And so we want to start to recognize when, and it's the same with health and fitness, and it's the same with how much money a woman makes. And there's this always this like, you know, yes, we're always going to want more, but in this goal getting paradigm, it's never enough.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And we're insatiable. And when we move to this inner awareness, more true pleasure paradigm, it is the true integration of the masculine and feminine, is where an empowered masculine energy man is going to recognize that this woman, I can make this woman happy. She is like, she's happy and carefree, and she doesn't go into the childish behaviors that are so common because of the drama roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Love that. So love everything you're saying. I was going to say, what's the first piece, someone interested in Receive or anything else you have going on? What are the next steps? Should they send you an email? I included your contact info in the
just
description.
have them, just go ahead and email me at leah@leahalake.com. Say you're interested. Say you watch the live stream with both of us, and I'll just give you the information.
Yeah. Leah. So Leah@leahalake.com. That's Leigha @leahalake.com. It's in the description right now, so everyone can check that. Also check out Leah's intuition course, which is in there as well. And you can also get her free gift on the art of receiving. It's a video training, I believe, right? Right.
And I do have this part on it. So with Receive, will go deeper into the teachings in the art of receiving training. So I go over the awareness, emotional maturity, higher frequency, and the process that we go through. And there's a PDF there that shows, it's the slides for those who are visual. And I have the life raft in there and things like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So totally free. Go check that one out as well. That's links in the description for that one. I just love this comment from Sarah Jean. I wanted to put that on the screen. Leah, are you an Enneagram 4? Do you know what your Enneagram type is, Leah?
I don't know what it is.
I was just curious on that. Yeah, we'll have to do. I have a interview coming out on human design, which is super interesting. I learned so much. I'll be posting that one soon.
What are you, Helena?
Enneagram, I'm a 9, which is the peacemaker. Okay. Totally makes sense. Yeah. And for human design, I'm a manifesting generator, which I don't know too much about that, but I have a call with my friend Antia Boyd on that we're going to kind of go into it and stuff like that. So, I'm just checking these last couple questions we didn't get to. How long have you been on your journey of inner work and feminine energy before meeting your current partner? I know you can never rush it, but just out of curiosity. I mean, I think I've just always been on a journey of inner work. I went to grad school for psychology about 12 years ago, maybe longer. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And because I think I just wanted to figure myself out, and I had all this knowledge. I was single for about 2.5 years after you guys know I was married before, right? Before I started doing all of this stuff here on YouTube. And Leah was with me through all of this, knows the whole story, to someone who was a wonderful guy, great person, unfortunately developed a really, really, really bad alcohol problem, terrible alcohol addiction. So I did a whole live stream on it. It's called How to Know When to Move On from a Relationship, if you guys are interested in the details of that. So after having to get myself out of that situation, I took 2 years to heal and really do some inner work on myself. I didn't want to just jump into something right away. I mean, I certainly dated and all of that, but I really wanted to heal from some traumatizing things that I experienced in that relationship. And then when I was ready, I did a lot of work. I worked with a counselor, as you guys know. If you're curious as to who I worked with and what I did, let me know, and I'll be happy to talk about that, or email me. And then I don't even know if I told you this, Leah, but when I got my mindset right, I was ready to go online, ready to do this. I joined an online dating site. I waited for that impulse, and then we started talking 24 hours after that. And then we met up 11 days after that, and we've been together ever since. So,
I love
after,
it. I love it.
so I was single for, I dated and had, brief relationships, but I knew I didn't want to get into something serious until I totally kind of healed from everything I had just gone through. So it was about 2 years. But once I was ready, I went for it, and it happened so quickly. And that's the story I was telling myself. I'm like, I'm going to dip in and dip out of this online dating thing. I'm going to meet some great people. This is going to be the funnest, easiest, fastest thing I've ever done. And that's exactly what happened. So it was like that linear thing I think you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Once you are ready and put both feet in, and I don't have anything different than anyone in the world doesn't have access to. You guys can all do that yourself. It's just about your mindset, right? That was probably the most jumbled story I've ever told. Hopefully that made sense. That's just off the top of my head. Okay, let me scroll. Anything you want to say, Leah? I'm scrolling all the way down to the bottom again, looking for more questions.
Nope. I think women need to, if they can just sit with this information and start implementing it right away, and focusing, because when you focus on like how you're feeling and what step you're in, am I triggered or feeling bad? Am I detaching? Am I reframing? Am I disengaging? Or do I feel like I'm on top of the world, right? So when you can know where you are basically at all times, and you can move through this multiple times a day, or most likely you will, then all of a sudden life takes on, you're closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be, because you're no longer focusing outside yourself. You're bringing everything to you. Like, that's how you do it.
Yes. Love it. I saw one more question I didn't get to. I'm trying to find it. There's so many things in the chat. It's so hard to, it was something about someone going to dinner with his ex-girlfriend. Where did it go? I think it was from Navita. I'm going to look for it. There's so many things. Here it is. Okay. She says, he replied to my text, chat later. I'm having dinner with my ex-girlfriend. I didn't like reading this. So irritated. Do I need to be concerned? Is this a man you're in an exclusive relationship with? Has this come up before? What would you say, Leah, I get questions like this all the time. When you hear something, it doesn't feel good. You feel like there's something to talk about. How would you have a woman navigate this situation?
Okay. So she wants to try and stay as neutral as possible. This is where mastery comes in. It's like, okay, I am triggered. This is a triggering situation. And my work is to stay neutral, because then you're going to have access to more of you're going to create the best outcome from this place. So next time you see him or talk to him, then you can bring it up like, hey, so what was that dinner all about? Like, what's going on with that? One or two quick questions. See how does he get defensive? Does he say, oh yeah, I was da 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 da, and it's not that big of a deal, right? Like, you need to be able to, when you're neutral, you can hone in on if what he's saying is actually true or not. But if you're triggered, you won't really be able to hear him.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, Jessica gave us some more information. The one with the ex coming back, wanting to help around the house. He's an all over the place guy. I love him, but I can't have a relationship with him. I just don't imagine him out of my life for good. Yeah, it's tough, but you got to hold that boundary. If you have no feelings for him at all, and he wants to help out around the house, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. So you might have to stick to your boundaries here. Yeah, great. These are some great comments, Leah. I don't know if you can see them.
No.
Okay, I have to go back and read them. They're so good. We're coming up at the top of the hour. Is there anything else? I'll just kind of leave you with the last word. Anything else you want to say before we close out?
No, I just want to say like this, if you can do this, like, your life will change. If you can do this transformation process, the awareness, emotional maturity to the higher frequency, everything in your life can start changing so fast. And it's not about trying to do it to hurry up and get somewhere, but it's like you start to become whole and more present and more magnetic and move energy faster than you ever could if you're on this goal-getting paradigm.
Yeah. Love it so much. Okay, I know I said that was the last one, but I saw one more come through. You guys, if we missed your questions, I'm so sorry. The chat, there's just so many people, they just disappear quickly, the questions. So put them down below in the comments, and maybe Leah and I can go through and answer as many as we can get to.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good idea to have a relationship while you don't feel ready to have a serious relationship? It's kind of what I was just talking about. I got divorced six months before. I don't feel ready to have someone inside my life. What are your initial thoughts on this one, Leah?
Well, I mean, if you're not ready, you're not ready. But it's like, go trust yourself. So if you were to trust yourself, what would you tell yourself to do?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would say I totally understand that. I had this added pressure of kind of like doing what I do. Did I feel that I would be seen as more valuable or more credible if I had just jumped in and married the first guy that came along after my divorce? Maybe it's possible, but I don't, to me, what my life looks like and feels like is much more important than what something looks like on the outside. So I went on this journey of healing, and I was doing all this stuff right along with you guys. So that was me personally. You have to figure out what feels best for you. If you're not ready, you're not ready. If you meet a great guy, maybe you've met somebody and you're not ready for a relationship, I would just be really open about that and let him know it feels so good being with you. I think you're amazing. I'm just out of a long relationship or a marriage, and to me it would feel really good to take things slow and just take my time, and I'm not feeling quite ready just to jump into something serious, and see what he does. I think that's something you can say. What do you think about that, Leah?
Yeah. And an empowered man isn't going to want to jump into anything anyway.
So true. I know you talk a lot about that in some of our other videos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If he's pushing, it doesn't sound like he is, but let's say you say something like that and he tries to make you feel bad. Well, that's going to give you a lot of information as to what kind of partner he would be, whoever shows up, right? In between now and when you're ready.
Yeah. Okay. I love what you just said. It's all information. You just have to know what to do with the information.
Yeah, exactly. Love that. Okay, well, this was amazing. Everyone, please email Leah if you are interested in her 6-week program, Receive, right? Anything else you want to say about Receive before we close out?
It's just going to be amazing. I don't know how else to say it, but it's, for anyone who's done intuition or the feminine art of dating, then it's going to be building off of that. So it will not be any of the same information.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you still offering the feminine art of dating, by the way, Leah?
Right. Yes.
Are you still offering it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll include a link to that as well. I have intuition in there. I have the link to your free gift. I have your email address for anyone interested in Receive, and I'll include the feminine art of dating because your Leah's programs, I get so much great feedback on them. Everyone, even coaches that I work with now are they're all huge Leigha Lake fans and everything. So yeah, this was amazing. Leah's the queen of over delivering and providing so much value. And I've heard from people who said this was the best course I've ever done on intuition or on manifestation, whatever the course is. They always say that your courses are just knock it out of the park and just change everything for them. So I'll include links to all of those. This was amazing, Leah. I would love to do this again soon. For the 450 people watching all the way till the end, thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you.
This was amazing. Yes. And yeah, have a great rest of the day, Leah. Thank you so much again. This was so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. This was so fun.